Hello and welcome back, fellow trainers, to another visit to my custom Pokemon region, the Halzari region. Let's go. As you can see here, this is the logo to my Pokemon region that I just redesigned and unveiled last week. Speaking of last week, I did an entire recap of every single Pokemon so far. So if this is your first visit to Halzari, I got so many more visits in the past that you can go visit and check out right here on YouTube. But last week, I left you with this teaser image for today's video. I teased you with some flying types and some regional forms right here. And let's go to our first Pokemon. Before we get to those flying types, though, I wanted to reach into the meadows and prairies of Halzari with this Pokemon right here. This is Prairie Dig. Prairie Dig is a ground and rock type Pokemon based off of the classic prairie dog that calls the Badlands of the South Dakotas and the Dakotas in general, and a lot of that middle western section of the United States home. I'll give you its Pokédex entry right here and now. Prairie Dig is the voracious digging Pokemon. It's a ground and rock type, number 67 in the Halzari Pokédex. Prairie Dig live in small colonies throughout the plains of the region. Their large drill bit-like tails allow for the colony to create miles of tunnels. I always found prairie dogs incredibly fascinating. I grew up in a town called Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It's right on Lake Winnebago, one of the few lakes that you can actually see on a map outside of the Great Lakes. So it's pretty large size, and we had a walking zoo right on the lakefront while I was there, and I was always fascinated by the prairie dogs. There was a whole little prairie dog exhibit, and I was just fascinated when hearing that how often and how much they would dig, and how they all seemed. There was about 20 to 30 prairie dogs in the exhibit, and there was always something going on. I always found that really fascinating. So I love the idea of giving this prairie dog like creature, this prairie dig, the ability to have that drill bit like tail to give this enormous natural defense to get through things, but then also to create these miles and miles of tunnels for the colony of Prairie Dig that it'd be a part of. So I thought that'd be a really interesting concept to go forth as we reach into the meadows. But beyond the meadows, I teased you with flying types. And I teased you with regional forms too, so why don't we get to both right now? Our second Pokemon of the day is my regional Ponyta. This one is a flying and fire type. It's my regional form, the Halzari form, if you will. I'm going to its Pokedex entry. Ponyta, the flying pony Pokemon. Flying and fire type, it's number 69 in the Halzari Pokedex. This regional variant runs with great speed to take flight with its smaller wings. The friction of its wings flapping cause small embers to flutter when in flight. So if you pay close attention to this Ponyta's design, it's a little bit larger, just slightly heftier, slightly bigger than the traditional Ponyta, and that was by design. I love that contrast of the small wing to the larger body, showing that a little bit more cartoony edge that Pokemon has come to embrace a little bit more in its art style, but also not lose what makes Ponyta incredibly cool, which is that fire and just that beautiful radiance that Ponyta has in the design. I didn't want to lose that, but I wanted to change it up. And I thought going from that light color contrasting style of that, bright beige, almost tan color, almost white color as well, that Ponyta has originally, to this darker, charcoal blue look would be a fun and interesting design choice. So that was really the inspiration here. And I love those blue elements to suggest flying type beyond just the wings. So you get a real nice color contrast between that orange and that yellow of the flame to what comes through the body, which is that charcoal blue. So you get different shades of fire and different elements of heat, but at the same time you get those elements of flying type more than just wings, which I thought was really interesting. But you all know by now Ponyta's got an evolution, and I've got one for you right here. This is one of my prides and joy, my regional Rapidash. Still flying in fire type, but this sucker is one I'm incredibly happy and proud of. Rapidash, this version is the Fiery Pegasus Pokemon. It is flying and fire type. It's number 70 in the Halzari Pokedex. Halzari's Rapidash speeds through the land and takes flight with eerie blue flames tracking its path. Its dark mane has sparked myths for generations in the region. And that little one, that last one's a bit of a tease to get towards my Discord channel and some other things that you can find lore for my region, all in my Discord server, which the invite is updated weekly on YouTube if you want to go to the community tab. However, when we're just speaking about Rapidash, I wanted to go something completely different. Rapidash is this beautiful, bright, shimmering streak of flame running across Kanto in its original version. And then you have the Galarian version, which has almost a little My Little Pony vibe to it, but it has far more of a whimsical, magical nature to it. I wanted to do something completely different with this Rapidash design. So I went with the incredibly dark charcoal black look and those eerie blue flames to suggest that there's just something. I'm not gonna lie, there's a little bit of Hellfire vibe to it, and I love those design choices and those elements. I really think it's important to show the posing here. So when I do regional designs, I intentionally start with the pose that's originally given for the Pokemon. It allows someone to view it as automatically something that they can accept because they've already seen the imagery before. And then I work from there. But this one I went just straight up new posing to give it that flying, galloping look that I really wanted this Rapidash design to have. I think I've achieved that. But all that blue flame is to give the suggestion of this beautiful but dark shadow flying through the sky, and just these beautiful streaks of blue from flame. It almost looks like it's an asteroid or a meteorite flying across the sky, that shooting star-esque vibe. I really wanted to hit those elements home. And when you think of blue and you think of friction and speed, blue has that inherent nature to it, which I really enjoy when it comes to those elements. So I thought those were just a natural for this design. Admittedly, like I almost struggle to talk about Rapidash a little bit on some levels because I just find it so cool. It's one of those designs that I like to go, you know what, you did good on this one, kid. But that is the summary of Rapidash in the Halzari region. We've unveiled 3 Pokemon today, but if you are a longtime viewer of this Halzari series, you know I'm not going to leave you hanging. So next week, I'm going to ask you this. Who's that Pokemon? So next week, you are going to meet that Pokemon right there. And as you can tell in the name, it's an evolution. My first custom evolution is coming out next week. Along with that, you are going to meet my flying type gym leader and some special concept art that I have for the flying type gym, which I'm so thrilled to be excited and so excited to share that with you guys because it's a real challenge and it's a real step forward for me in my journey as an artist and my journey as a storyteller. It's something I'm growing in comfort, but it's still very fresh, new, and exciting. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. But before you go, I just want to say, as always, thank you for joining me on here. I appreciate everything that you guys do just by watching the channel. If you could for me, though, give me a like, give me a subscribe, or if you're somewhere else, give me the follow, whatever you want to do. Comment and share this as much as you possibly can. It helps me a lot and it helps YouTube kind of see that this is worthwhile stuff. Speaking of YouTube, I just hit 600 subscribers literally right before filming this video. I didn't think I was going to hit 600 subscribers for like a year. So I thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I appreciate everything that you're doing for me. Last thing, I've got new content coming to YouTube. All of my Twitch playthroughs of Pokemon Fire Red are being broken up episodically on YouTube. It's going to be available for you anytime now. It might be, if I get the time before this video, it might be available to you already. But alas, look out for those playthroughs. They're coming. If you want to join me live on Twitch every single Tuesday around 7:30, I am streaming Pokemon Fire Red right now and eventually further games. But I always do impromptu streams, so you can catch me anytime on Twitch through those notifications. Follow me on Twitch. You can find me there. And lastly, join my Discord server. There's so much more content I have for you. Discord is the first place you can find it. The invite, as I said during the Pony Toss section of this video, is refreshed every single week on YouTube, on the community tab. All you have to do, use that one, join my Discord server. It just shows that you care, and I love caring about you guys, which is why I do this content for you. But again, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you doing it, and I can't wait for the next visit to Halzari. That being said, thank you. Peace. Bye-bye.